think it's really important that we have this next conversation, which is just some of the obvious misconceptions that the age play community faces. What assumptions do people make, and what can we maybe try to clear up as we're wrapping up tonight?
Sure. Well, there. The top level assumption is that interest in age play has anything to do with biological kids. And you don't have to be the top or caregiver or daddy to have this fear or this concern. In fact, people who might just be DLs, leaving everyone alone, just practicing their fetish in peace, actually feel some fear that if somebody found that they recreationally wear diapers in their own time, they might somehow believe that they present some danger to children. And, it's not a leap when you're under somebody's lens, so it's natural to really want to avoid that unpleasant interaction where you have to explain something terribly private to somebody who's not informed or sympathetic. So avoiding that experience can lead people to keeping their age play stuff very tightly under wraps, and even going through binge and purge cycles, getting rid of it all because they just want to leave all that complexity behind and not bring it into this new relationship they're so hopeful for example, when that's actually the exact opposite of what they should be doing. I mean, I'm speaking from opinion, of course, but anyway. So since it's so easy for people going to a big kink party, seeing some rather young people dressed even younger and knowing nothing, to feel some fear and some concern. Like, are they okay? If I talk to them, am I in trouble somehow? These are reasonable thoughts to have when confronted with this unknown. And some people are going to respond with alarm or disgust, and that's their problem. If you're the age player at the party, but with information that is moderated. One thing that I tell people at who are organizing parties is that age players are adults by definition. All age players are adults, and treat them as such. Feel no special handling is required. No special handling is required. If they misbehave, throw them out. And, if they have a good time, invite them back. Tell them to bring their friends and make an age play corner or something if they would like that. But the persistent conflation of age play with pedophilia is something to be aware of. And it's also not smart or wise to pretend that there aren't minors interested in age play that you need to actively exclude. And you do. So I mentioned Instagram age play as being its own topic earlier. You should put NMIK in your profile. No minors in kink. Which is a great way to signal that this is something you believe, and you might be, a better friend for their purposes. So anyway, age play usually does a great job of looking childish from a distance, but once you get close, you see that there's adult intelligence and adult sensibilities and adult nuance at play all the time. You could only think this if you didn't observe it.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out that throughout this conversation, we've been doing what? Having a conversation. We haven't been showing pictures or videos or whatever else, because if you did, you would recognize that on the outside, these are absolutely grown-ups walking around with pacifiers in their mouth or carrying bottles or whatever else. And, on an interior perspective, you may be able to experience that sense of age regression or that sense of being a different person and that kind of mental space. But explicitly, we are talking exclusively about adults.
Yep. Now, misunderstandings can still be surprising and goofy, like somebody asking about the age players at the kink party, like, can they consent? Well, yes, they can. No problem. They're adults.
They're adults.
Yep.
Adults can do that.
What advice or maybe takeaways would you have for the audience in terms of I guess breaking some of these stereotypes? Or I recognize that you're out looking to educate people about these things. You're willing to do a show like ours to help clear up some of these misconceptions. What else do we need to be doing to make sure that this is understood more generally?
Well, I am less of the normalize yourself type of person and more of the mind my own business type of person.
Sure.
So, I would encourage people who are uncomfortable with age play or something like that to, well, it's clearly not your thing. Leave them alone. You don't need an opinion that you share with them. But the normalization of age play is already rampant. If you go to Disneyland, and I've been to Disneyland many times, you see age players there all the time, and they're not hard to spot. And I would add that we all probably know somebody who would be an age player if they were aware that it were a thing. I remember seeing a lesbian couple on the bus from the Toy Story parking lot going to Disneyland, and it's very clearly a mommy-girl relationship where business mommy is on her phone, but occasionally looking over it at her backpacked, ear-wearing, park pins and lanyard, like the whole thing, all the nervous excitement, and it's two adult women. But clearly there's a acknowledged or unacknowledged caregiver little dynamic of some sort going on there. Then the only question is like, do they know? So when people are uncomfortable with age play, I frequently just need to say, well, gosh, everybody has that eccentric aunt or cousin, right? Somebody who still likes to eat the cereal and while watching the cartoons in the PJs and has lots of stuffed animals. I mean, that's just an eccentric person we know and love, right? Like that's already pretty damn normal. And that's kind of a healthy place to leave it for me. The rest of it isn't necessarily your business. We can be kind of curious about whether they know or not. But ultimately, we should be supportive of one another finding our happiness.
I think that is a fantastic thing to end on. Thank you so much. So we want to talk a little bit about, we've got Prime Day is coming up. And to get ready for Prime Day, you can shop at tiny.cc/Prime Day ACA or with Amazon Smile on in the Amazon shopping app. And Amazon Smile will donate part of that to the ACA.
Another way for folks to support and donate, which helps us keep the lights on, helps us keep these content coming.
Plus, you get to get your Amazon stuff, and that's always nice. Thank you, Brett, for coming. We've got, if anyone wants to learn more about what Brett's doing and his the group that he's with, go to ageplayaustin.com, where you can find links to the Instagram, Discord, FetLife, and plenty more. And before we go, we definitely want to include our amazing crew and talk about them. Hey, there's Crew Cam.
All the many people that help us put this together.
I'm very sad that the Crew Cat is not here, but otherwise,
it's still a mostly decent team of good people.
I mean, mostly, they're okay.
Yeah, and then on top of all of the Brett's, Sarah mentioned all of the links that Sarah mentioned for Brett. There's, of course, our at Secular Sex Twitter account, as well as the Secular Sexuality Facebook fan group. We, of course, want to mention our Teespring as well as Patreon, these other opportunities for you to engage, embrace, and be a part of the community in the atheist community of Austin. And outside of that, I think this is a good moment to encourage everybody to go and give themselves a big old orgasm, or Better yet, give somebody else one.